What happened? We're ready. Okay, rock and roll. Here we go again.
This program proudly brought to you by Southern Cross Pitch and Putt and Henry's Family Restaurant. The road home for the Cannons, and in their sights, the Razorbacks from West Sydney.
And for us to trying to step up and break our streak, probably got our best chance against West Sydney.
Down in Dandenong, the Lightning fizzled, while the Caps march into their second WNBL final. And we have the wrap on another round in the NBL, here on Cannons Courtside.
Hello and welcome to Cannons Courtside. Great to have your company as we head very quickly towards the climax of the National Basketball League season. The Canberra Cannons, well, they're back in town this weekend. Tomorrow afternoon at the Palace at 3 o'clock, a rare Sunday afternoon game. They're up against the West Sydney Razorbacks. We'll have a look at that game in just a few moments' time. But what about those Canberra Capitals already into the National Women's League Grand Final, and that's on next Saturday afternoon. And our special guest in the studio today will be Lucille Hamilton. We'll have a look at that game as well. But our guest from the Cannons today is a young man who's got a few problems, Geordie Cullen. Geordie, great to have you here, but when I say problems, got a bit of a knee problem.
Yes, sir. Got a bit of a sore muscle going across the knee, which is going to leave me 50-50 for the weekend to play. Yeah, I'm quite happy to see it's not my knee. It's just a muscle that starts from the bottom and goes across, and it's pretty inflamed. Just got to be very careful. The people give me great advice not to overdo it and like try and snap it. So a lot of physio today, a lot of physio tomorrow, see if I can play.
3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You've got just over 24 hours left to get that thing right, to get on the court. Are you going to make it?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. You know, I mean, myself, I'll play with broken hands, broken feet. I don't care. I love to play basketball, but I'll give it a good go. Plus, I'm young, so I'll go take the advice from the professionals like Craig Purdom and stuff. They know what's best for me and my legs, so touch wood, I'll be okay and maybe play.
Well, let's hope you are, because there's been so much injury troubles with this team this year, but you've been staying out of it, which is good news. But listen, let's go back to last week. You played the Wollongong Hawks down in Wollongong, and they're awfully tough down there, aren't they? Particularly this year when they're riding so high at the top of the ladder.
Yeah, they're what you can look up and say that's a team. Very, very team orientated. Every time I come down the court, you know, I'd go to one defensive play and they'd just hand it off, share it around. A lot that we could probably take, you know, learn from. They're very unselfish towards each other. Plus, they're playing great basketball. They're just a great contender like Townsville. I think they're going to give it a good shake. Give it a good shake this year.
You guys started off all right. You played with them for quite some time, like you have with a lot of teams.
Yeah, we beginning early in the season, we lost them by a point down in Wollongong, and we come out with the same intensity. We were going all right. I think the first quarter we were leading. We were playing pretty strong, and then after a while, their motors just kept turning and turning. Their team orientation just came together, and they beat us. Not one person beat us, they all beat us as a team.
It was a pretty quick game, this one. You were up and down the floor a lot, and there's a lot of sprints going on out there.
Yeah, I remember coming in the third quarter, and as soon as I've come on the court, I ran up the court, and I sprinted back down for defense, and I ran back up again. I think I was up and down the court about 4 or 5 times, and I could really tell after the game that it was one of the most hardest games I tried to play against, and my body was very, very tired. We were on the go, just up and down.
Now, a lot of people have been surprised by Wollongong this year. They weren't in amongst the pre-season picks. They were a team that just made it into the playoffs there last year. Not a lot of changes in that team, but do they look like a championship team?
I think they're going to give it a very good shaking. I put them up there, probably third best with Townsville, maybe Victoria in the Perth. I think they're better than Adelaide, as they've proven in the weeks before. I think they're good. They're a team, you know, like you look at Perth and you can say, you know, the Graces and the Blahofs and the Rogers, and then Victoria's got the Anstey's, the Smiths. And then you look at Wollongong, that's just a team, you know? They're just the whole team, you can't really pull one
put together very well, and very well coached by Brendan Joyce.
Yes, Brendan.
Now, tomorrow afternoon, the Cannons are up against the West Sydney Razorbacks at the Palace, and a team outside of the top six, and this is the last team outside of the top six that the Cannons will play, because to follow, they've got Perth and Sydney. So we spoke to Coach Cal Bruton about his thoughts on tomorrow's game.
Playing Perth, the defending champs, and Sydney obviously looking to sort of up the ante for their playoff hopes. Those two teams probably primed, and for us to trying to step up and break our streak, probably got our best chance against West Sydney, being that they've just come off a big loss against Sydney, and that's like a double loss when you lose against a crosstown rival. They're a pretty small team at times. You know, if they got Simon Dwight, Yaya Dia, Scott McGregor, Bruce Bolden, and Blair Smith, that's a very big lineup. But then they also used Willie and Derek Rucker pretty extensively, and Ben Arkell is the other guy that they use quite a bit. So, yeah, we probably can match up with them pretty well.
Yeah, let's hope that you can. They're still a tough team, though. They've not performed as well as they could. I mean, the names that Cal was rattling off there, people like the Yaya Diaz and the Simon Dwights and Scott McGregors and Bruce Bolden, very big front line. Backcourt, you've got Riley and Rucker, of course. That's a very good lineup. You'd expect they'd have done better this year.
Yeah, they got the great names. They got, you know, Simon's probably one of the great players in the league. Yaya, you know, have to respect him. Plus, you got Derek Rucker and you got John Riley, you know, Scotty McGregor. They're great players, you know. But you got to think they played Perth last night, and they're going to be coming off a road double. So this is our biggest chance. But once you're on court, we're all equal. I suggest, just like playing down in the park. Just go out there to win, and I think tomorrow we might have a bit of an edge, them being a bit tired, and we can't leave nothing on the court. We've got to go for it. We've got to leave it everything on the court.
Talking to some of the players this week, desperate to get a win before the end of the season. I mean, it's been so disappointing over the last 10 games and 10 losses, and then you really want to get a W before the end of the season.
Well, myself, don't get us wrong, we've tried hard. We're just learning, you know. We'll play 3 quarters like with the best of them, you know, and then we just fall out. And that takes its toll after a time. I'm a young player. I just want to win. I don't see nothing else in my mind. As soon as I get up in the morning, it's just like, I need to beat this team. I need to try. I dive on the ball, you know. And my teammates are the same. We're on the bottom of the ladder right now, but our spirits are high and we're learning. So once that all, you know, comes together, I think the wins will start coming and we'll start protecting, and we need to lose before we can win.
Let's hope they can. Well, we're going to take a break here on Cannons Courtside, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at all of the news from around the NBL.
You're not supposed to look at yourself, you're supposed to look at him.
Yeah, I do.
Welcome back to Cannons Courtside. If you've just joined us, our special guest today is the Cannons big man, the big young man, Geordie Cullen. And Geordie, you signed on for another year here at the Cannons. You've had a terrific first year as a rookie year, and you want to build on it again next year.
Yes, sir. I like, one of the keys I do have is I like to work hard, listen to my coach, and I can't wait for the off season so I can work a lot harder, and I got direction now where I want to go and what I want to work on. So.
Yeah, what are the things that you've learnt in your first year that you'd really like to work on in the off season?
Well, first of all, when I got here, I was in college, and it was pretty easy in college. I was scoring, and I couldn't play defense. Now, it's probably the best defense I'm playing right now. Plus, Cal makes you learn with your head a lot. You know, I'm a lot smarter player. Like, just just little stuff like, you know, mismatches, just holding the ball a second so he can come through and not dribbling into nothing, being patient.
Yeah, I guess the things that you've learnt are that you can take other big guys off the dribble because you've got a quick first step and you can do that. What are the things that you learnt that you've got to really go with, though? I mean, things that you've struggled with.
Well, definitely I give away a lot of size and height on the centre. I'm about 6'9", 6'10", probably about 105, 110 kilos. And I walk on and I think, wow, I'll take the biggest.
Do you think you've got to build up, get in the weight room over the next winter?
Yeah, Cal's brought to me to be smart too. You know, basketball is a thinking game, and you know, I give away a lot of height and a lot of weight, but me and him have sat down and talked about defensively not giving them the post so they can just dominate me, like riding them out to the corner or getting low into their weak knee or something, like getting down there, and you know, they bang into me all the time. You know, just take a drop, take a charge. You know, Cal's helped me a lot to, you know, it's on a mismatch pretty much, but you know, me and Cal's got good chemistry. I got the heart and he's got the brains, so we come together.
Look forward to that partnership developing more in the next 12 months. Well, we're going to take a look now at what's been happening around the NBL and over the last 7 days of the NBL. Here's Nick Edwards.
Townsville's run into the playoffs really gathered some momentum with the biggest win of the season over fellow Queenslanders Brisbane. The Crocs' outside game destroyed the Bullets, who could only manage 63 points for the game.
Rose, good move from Easy.
Brisbane's woes continued when they met Cairns in a game that could easily have gone either way. It was the Taipans who got the W with some composed shooting down the stretch. Ben Knight had another outstanding game, collecting 36 points while Simon Curl managed 23.
Good thing for the Taipans got on the ground is Simon curls.
With Simon Dwight sidelined with a knee injury, the Razorbacks were always going to struggle against the Kings at the State Sports Centre. Despite 29 points from John Riley, the Kings showed their playoff potential with an easy 21-point victory. Coach Brett Brown was upbeat after the game.
I thought the distribution of minutes where everybody is trying to find their niche, find their role, particularly with Randolph coming in this late, I felt comfortable, but the rhythm was okay. Sometimes you feel like you did a bad game sub, and this game seemed to flow easily for the group, and I think the chemistry is good.
The match of the round was an overtime thriller at the Clipsal Powerhouse. Adelaiders tumbled down the ladder on the back of an appalling losing streak and were hoping to turn things around. Melbourne were looking for a scalp before the end of the season and went to the half-time break with a 6-point lead. Adelaide narrowed the gap with a three-quarter time prayer from Darnell Mee and then locked up the game at the end of regulation. But the Tigers were not to be denied, and led by the round's MVP, Andrew Gaze, they held off the 36ers to record a 3-point win.
Nash with a prayer, off, misses, possession goes to, well, there's no need for another possession because the Tigers have won this one.
Yes, it was close, but another loss to Adelaide, and I guess regular viewers of this program would know that at the start of the season I was picking Adelaide. I reckon this was going to be their year, but the indications are that it's not going to be. What do you think, Geordie? Have they done it? Can they come back in the playoffs?
You know, you can't really mess with Adelaide. You can see their performance at the beginning of the year. They were just dominating teams. They're on top of the ladder for a long time. You know, as we talked about before, they've won championships. You can't let a sleeping dog lie. You got to really pay attention to Adelaide, the Townsvilles, of course the Wollongongs. You know, I think
they'll throw everyone in there, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough six, so it'd be great to see.
Okay, speaking of the top six, let's take a look at the way the ladder looks right now. And Adelaide, because of their losing streak, here it is right now. Well, Victoria, Townsville and Wollongong, this is an updated ladder, and Townsville are up there because they had a terrific win last night in Sydney, beat the Sydney Kings in the last second. And that's the way the top six looks now, and Adelaide's starting to fall off the bottom. You just wonder whether they can pick it up. And at the other end of the ladder, the Canberra Cannons are sitting right down there at the bottom, and they need to get another win. You see West Sydney, their opponents tomorrow, 3 places above them, and that would be a good scalp to get to come towards the end of the season. Of course, they've got Perth and Sydney to come. So that's the way it looks. Geordie Cullen, I'd like to thank you for being our special guest today, and good luck, and let's hope you can get that knee right before tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you for having me on the show, and yeah, maybe you'll see number 5 on court tomorrow.
Let's hope we can.
I hope
good
so.
luck with it. Okay, we've got Lucille Hamilton coming in from the Canberra Capitals talking about their big grand final clash next Saturday afternoon, and we'll find out who their opponent is. Lucille, right after the break. Welcome back to Cannon's Courtside. It's time to talk Canberra Capitals, and I'm very excited about our next guest, Lucille Hamilton, who's joined us today. This is the first time we've had you in this year, I think.
It is, yes.
We've kept some of the best till last, obviously.
Oh, good on you, Phil. Yes, but I think you have had a few of the Canberra Transat Capitals in.
We have had a number of you in, and what a terrific end to the season it's becoming, because you're up in the grand final next Saturday afternoon after beating Sydney in a tremendous game last week.
Thank you. It was... Well, yeah, it was exciting. It sort of, it was a little too easy, if you like. We sort of
when
felt...
you went into that game, did you think it's going to be like this, or it just panned out that way?
Yeah, I think it did just pan out that way. We were actually a little bit nervous with Shelley Sandy not playing and not sure of the impact that would have on the team. But, yeah, I think Lauren sort of grabbed the game and did her thing as she tends to do.
Well, Lauren did her normal thing, didn't she? But I'm thinking, when you said you weren't sure of the impact that Shelley's absence would have, it seemed like it had a positive impact on a lot of people, because everybody sort of took it on themselves, I'm going to fill her spot.
Yeah, that simply, I think everyone, certainly the starting group and also the kids coming off the bench, I think we, everyone took it upon themselves to give an extra 10 to 15%, and we did just that. So.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from last week's game, and it was just a tremendous game. You talk about people coming in off the bench. I mean, there were just contributors all over the floor. We talk about Lauren doing her thing, and she did it so well. I mean, she did it with the usual poise and style that she does things with, but there were just others. Kristen Veal, and, you know, she just came out and not only hit shots like that, but did a tremendous job defensively. Yeah, she did. Kristen's, she's a terrific point guard. I think she actually controlled the game and sort of led us through. I've got to ask you that shot.
Well, don't ask.
Was that a prayer?
I don't know. It was a prayer, mate. Yeah, it was either a charge or, look, I'll throw it up and see what happens. So it went down, which was terrific.
Third quarter from Lucille Hamilton was just superb. I mean, you must have thought, where's all this space come from?
Yeah. Well, the first and the second quarters weren't too flash, so I guess it was my time, and I needed to make a contribution. But also in Shelley's absence, Gemma Sutherland and Kelly Abrams came off. Well, Gemma actually started, but certainly Gemma and Kelly made terrific contributions. But yeah, it's a terrific vibe at the moment with the team. Everyone's sort of settled into their roles. They know what they have to do, and yeah, we're feeling certainly very excited, a little anxious, but very excited about the grand final coming up.
Yeah, it's a question of being able to do it a couple of outings in a row. I mean, you've had a week's break this weekend, but I mean, if you can play that sort of game, that would be just a dream game. I guess the big worry is you've played your best game a week too early or 2 weeks too early.
Peaked a little too early. Yeah.
I'm not sure that peaking is a problem. I just think, I mean, if you can play this kind of game, you can win the grand final. It's a question of whether you can or not.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I guess it's quite simply we need to play as well as we did in the semi-final, and you know, we should win.
Lauren putting a fist in the air, she knew that it was all over then when she hit that shot. I mean, you were 26 or 28 in front at one stage.
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it? But it's funny when you actually reach that point where it's like, hell, we've won this game. Like, you must remain focused until the final siren, but you do get to a point and it's like, yeah, a smile sort of breaks open and we've won.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was it, 17, 19 points or something in the end, but I guess the score really flattered Sydney in the end, because, as I say, it was out to 28 at one stage and just perhaps eased off a little bit towards the end. But what a terrific win. Now, the big news is, of course, that Sydney won again last night and beat Dandenong.
Yeah.
So they're your opponents again next week.
Yeah, boy. Well, in fact, Dandenong were, you know, the in-form team, and we actually thought that they might beat Sydney. But I suppose with Sydney's experience, and you know, they've been in a number of finals campaigns, they've come through, and we recall our previous game against Sydney, which was an absolute battle. I think it was 2 points in Sydney. So the grand final will be a very tough game.
Susie Batkovic got 30 plus, or nearly 30 last week against you here. She got over 30 last night against Dandenong, so she's in terrific form. But I mean, you can let one have 30 as long as you can do the job that you did on the others.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple of our key defenders, Eleanor Sharp and Shelley as well. They generally shut down their opponents, key scorers like Belinda Snell or Annie Lafleur, but certainly Susie has made big contributions. So Lauren and myself and Gemma Sutherland will definitely need to work on shutting Susie down. If you've got any tips, we'd be pleased to hear them. Susie's a pretty big, strong character.
Yes, she's left-handed, I'll give you that. But you already know that, don't you?
Thanks, Phil. Yeah. I'm not too sure. We might just have to body her up and take away that left hand and see how we go. But definitely shut Susie down.
Got to ask you about Shelley because she missed that game with the back problem. She hasn't been able to train all week. She's been having acupuncture treatment. You got any update on her?
Shelley's took our training session this morning. We had a shoot around this morning. Shelley's in good form or better form, and
is she out shooting the ball now?
She's not shooting the ball yet. I think with backs they're a funny sort of an injury. You don't want them to flare up. So Shelley's sort of just laying low, I think, and basically she's in great shape. Her shooting touch is terrific. So if she can get herself to the game on Saturday, that's all we need. You know, she might shoot around lightly beforehand, but you know, she's mentally tough. She knows exactly what to do when she gets out there. So, you know, to miss a few trainings isn't too important at this stage of the season. But if Shelley can get herself out on court on Saturday, then that'd be great.
Just quickly, we've got to wind it up. But before we go, I mean, you came out of retirement to play this year. You're going to play again next year?
Me? Crikey. Yeah. Well, I did. I retired. I'm going to see how we fare in the grand final. Hopefully we'll pull a win and then sit down and have a look at the big picture, if you like. Why would you leave a terrific program, a grand final team like Canberra Transact Capitals? It's a fantastic program. I think I'd be silly to walk away. I expect to finish my basketball years here in Canberra. So, yeah, I'm on a good thing. I'll hopefully stick to it. We'll see how we go.
Well, thanks for coming in today, and good luck next week. You know, you don't need luck because you've got all the talent there to do it. Just a matter of putting it all together on the day.
That's exactly right, Phil, and yeah, we believe that we can.
Okay, thanks, Lucille Hamilton there talking about the Canberra Capitals and their chances next week in the grand final. Let's hope this town gets right behind them, and there's a big crowd out there at the Palace next Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, the Cannons are in town, 3:05 the tip-off against the West Sydney Razorbacks. That should be a big one. Make sure you're out there. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for joining us. I hope you can get out to the game. I look forward to seeing you there, but we leave you again, as we always do on this show, with our Play of the Day.